Salutations, dear viewers. You're on with Nexon of the Vast Nexus, and welcome to a Fortnite special, The Longest Fortnite. Now, immediately you might notice that things are going awfully fast. Total video time for this was about 2 hours and 45 minutes for one match, so understandably I sped things up a little bit in the editing in order to create a video that would actually be watchable. And despite all of my reductive efforts, it's still a 40-minute video. Now, to provide a little bit of context, this match was a modified Team Rumble, and I don't mean modified by myself or any of the players. This was the Travis Scott live event thing. Now, the event itself has been omitted from the video for obvious copyright reasons. However, what we have here is the pre-event preparation, I guess you could say, followed by the post-event match, and it's the latter of those two that is important here. The reason I decided to leave this in at all is, again, to contextualize the equipment that I had, and because I have a suspicion that for some, I presume, very juvenile reason, people are going to find Fortnite in high speed humorous. I mean, they say everything looks cooler in slow motion. Well, I think everything looks funnier in high speed. I mean, you can draw your own conclusion there. Now, the thing that made this match unusual is that the match reached a point where the storm no longer encroached upon the play area, leading to a relatively open space where players had to hunt and seek each other out. Now, this also meant that there was no inherent time limit on the match itself. You know, the weird part is, if this high-speed Fortnite thing starts some kind of weird trend for goofy Fortnite videos, I know that I'm not going to get any credit for starting. It'll be just like my school days, where I set trends and everybody pretended like somebody else who was a lot cooler or more popular than I was started it. And the match starts proper. Now we're back to normal speed here for a while. Now it's important to note... What am I doing? Now it's important to note here that you should keep track of how many players there are on each side. Right now it's 1921, which is not bad, but our team is going to start falling off, and I mean hard. Because what this match will ultimately devolve into is me putting my preferred skill set to the ultimate test. So now we're 18 players versus 21 opponents. It's trickling down. 17 versus 21. And their kills are massing quicker than ours. So the storm at this point is still shrinking, albeit at a phenomenally glacial pace. But a point will come where this match basically turns into an open arena with no time limit, and that is where the hilarity of my commitment to winning this match begins to shine through. $15 versus 18. Still fewer people than they are. Oh, there's Crazy Girl. She would be one of the final two to hold out the longest. $13v16. Again, numbers are dropping fast. Critically, I don't have a sniper rifle. Now, you'll note that this time we have a HUD, and we don't have enemy radar locations displayed. As would be the nature of any Team Rumble match, or especially a live event, this was not a replay. I recorded this in progress. So, for a brief moment, we had more players than they did. 11v6. I wonder when that shifted. Nine v6. Looking for somebody to shoot at this point. 8v6, 7v6. It's funny, it's almost as if when our team realized they weren't going to win, they all decided to wimp out. How thoughtful. You'll also notice I'm getting into a lot of 2v1 here. 6v6. So, I see a teammate, and I think I decided it'd probably be best for those of us that are left to stick together. Ah yes, Christian Dot, who sniped me I think more than once during this match. If I'd had a sniper rifle, I could have done some friggin' damage. But I did not get the luck of the loot this time around. And in a few short moments, the enemy has doubled our score. That's always a good thing. So at this point, I figure they're running suppressed, because I think that's all you could get in Team Rumble at the time. So if I have full health and full shields, I can take a sniper hit, provided it's not a headshot. Now it's down to 5v6. I'm getting a little paranoid. A lot of third parties by... Well, I suppose they wouldn't be third parties, but getting jumped a lot by supporting teammates from the enemy team while our team flails around like a drowning baby. And now it's 3v4. We've come into a two-squad scrimmage with us at a disadvantage. Especially considering the caliber of the enemy players definitely seems a lot better than what I'm working with. Oh my god, and I just realized somebody built a structure in the shape of a dong. Oh, nice. Nice. Real classy. God. Like I said, Fortnite content, really? This is what gets the most views on my channel? Christian again. And Anonymous, who sniped me before. Well, they didn't snipe me, they headshot me. But of course, they're gonna dive straight on me. Now it's 2v4. They literally double our number. So I'm trying to stick close to this guy, or gal, whoever this person is, because just us versus them. But I don't know what they were playing at, but it clearly did not work for us. Thing is, it's easy for a match like this to get personal, because it's one squad versus another, which means that when you get eliminated, you know exactly who did the deed. It invites revenge kills, basically. Still 2v4. My sole remaining compatriot... Oh, look, somebody actually put dongs all the way across the map. Real colorful. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could hit something. Now, I have to wonder what is going through the minds of this final squad who found it sporting, perhaps, to go 4v1. I mean, even if they win, what's it really worth to them? I mean, if it took 4 of you to just get that done. I suppose they were just being opportunistic predators. And of course, thanks to the foreknowledge of all this happening in the past, I know for a fact that my remaining teammate is going to dip out at one point or another. And then I decide to take this into the meta game. Oh, there's Christian again. Told you they kept sniping me. So I got the whole squad on me again, of course. So at this point I decided to go hard into stealth, or that might come in a minute. I know what happens when it turns into 1v4. And I know that some blowhard out there is going to claim that I was being unfair, and it's like, if you're in a situation where it's 1v4, your only chance is to take every conceivable advantage possible. The one I was after? Patience, persistence. How long are they willing to wait me out? I'll bet it's not as long as I'm willing to wait them out. Perhaps I would have made a good politician, considering the art of politics is to care more than your opposition. The moment your opposition no longer cares about the problem, you win. And of course I dressed appropriate for the occasion. My Maya that is about as stealthy, at least in a dark environment, as can be imagined. Still 2v4. Other teammate probably ran out of ammunition, because that is a critical point here. Ammunition in Team Rumble is often replenished by making eliminations, but we've got a whole squad singling us out individually, you know, probably one after the other. And fundamentally, we get eliminated, and even if we do eliminate one of them, we never get a chance to loot their body for ammunition. Ergo, ammunition's becoming a little scarce. And it's only going to get scarcer. Now, all of these things are things that I... Oh, and there we go. 1v4. It's me versus a whole squad. They must have been low. Oh, and that was a shot from over 250 meters. And that's another shot. Reposition. Yep, that must be Christian with the frickin' sniper rifle. You also have to wonder how many mats these people have. That's also replenished with kills, and it's not as though there's a whole lot to harvest mats from anyway. And I got the whole squad on me again. Oh, an emote. Really? 4v1, you're gonna emote with a kill. So I think I tried playing stealthy but aggressive for a minute before I realized that fundamentally, unless those numbers go down, I'm dead. I just have no chance. The moment I take one shot at one of them, I just get murked by a gang. They're gonna rush me again, of course. Now, a reason I chose to accelerate gameplay footage as opposed to simply cutting it out was to create a sense of the time spent. So yes, here's where the hard stealth begins. How long are they willing to stay in here without being able to find me? Knowing that fundamentally, because there's still a clock running, but in the end, that clock's going to run out and nothing's going to happen. The storm just stays where it is. There's no timer for the final elims. I should contextualize that this match ran until about 2:30 a.m. in my local time. So I was staying up late, and I mean late, to pull this off. Now, unfortunately, monitoring the speed with which I am accelerating time will be difficult on account of the fact that the in-game clock is going to stop at some point. Still, I think it's enough to have a sense of the time I spent on this. So yeah, at this point I'm just waiting until there's fewer than 4 people. I can't go 1v4 without just getting murked. Now, right now, they're wasting ammunition, unless they're killing themselves purposefully to drop ammunition to pick it up later. Possibility, sure. And now there's only 3 of them. So the storm has stopped. There is no longer a storm issue. The map that exists now is the map. And now there's only 2 left. I hadn't noticed that immediately, or I probably would have headed out. So now I'm thinking that, okay, well, I don't want to be doing this forever either. Perhaps I should convince them to quit. That they're not going to get a chance. So, we're still in an accelerated time frame, but I've slowed it a little bit. So I don't know where they are, and critically, I don't want them to know where I am. But I need to get a little aggressive to convince them that maybe they should leave. Or, if it comes down to it, actually win the match through kills just by avoiding getting taken out. I'm still at a numerical disadvantage. They have double my number. Granted, that's not much. Or that's not saying much. Never underestimate my patience. Never overestimate my patience either. Different things wear on my patience at different rates. When it comes to being a sneaky, stealthy... yeah. I have an incredible amount of patience. I will outwait you till doomsday. Besides which, I just thought that this would be an interesting story to tell, the time that I played a Fortnite match that lasted for over 2 hours. Now, my initial attempt to go on the offensive did not exactly end well for me, but that doesn't mean I gave up on it. I still don't know how it didn't go well for me, because again, there's no replay footage to see things from their perspective. But while I was challenging one, the other one seemed to have gotten behind me somehow, or just happened to be there, but didn't notice I had taken position in the first place. So now I'm trying to draw attention not to me, but to my general vicinity by knocking down structures. As tall structures explode, they're bound to attract attention, and I have to figure that If these last two are still here, unless they're, like, genuinely goofing off, they have to be looking for me. Of course, it turns out ultimately that they probably weren't, especially in the latter portion of the match. Yeah, they're goofing off. I am forced to wonder, were they destroying builds thinking that I might be hiding in them? Or were they just blasting at each other, thinking it was a big game? I mean, I think access to the island, for private scrimmage, like the whole Battle Lab thing, was available at this point, so why do it during the Travis Scott event? So yeah, I saw where they were, and I decided to try and approach and encroach upon them. This is where it didn't quite go well for me. If only I had a sniper rifle. I'm having to make 250-meter shots with a SCAR. Suppose I should look on the bright side. I could have to make 250-meter shots with an AR or a burst. No dolphin diving. Way too visually obvious. Not that swimming doesn't leave an obvious trail. The good thing about this longest of Fortnites is that this will probably make it so that my viewership doesn't want to see another Fortnite video from me ever again. Which, even though there are a few more planned, is good, because I really don't want to have to be making these constantly. I really don't. I mean, I checked 6 o'clock. No enemies. See the guy, go for the shot, end up just catching it in the back of my friggin' brain pan from nowhere, apparently. I believe the last two left were Crazy Girl and Mikuru. Mikuru seemed to be going for a good time, while Crazy Girl kept coming after me. Living up to her name, then. However, after this initial success of theirs, can't help but feeling that guy was bait. So, it's back to the stealth for a minute. Consider a strategy. Wait for them to let their guards down. Now, my bait-and-switch tactics here ended up turning into a stroke of genius in several locations, because this is what I'm good at. So, what's going to attract attention like gunfire and a collapsing structure? Besides, no one expects anybody to be hiding in these bushes anymore. Too small. But oh, the benefits of a character that's in full camo. Now, I figured that they were going to dive exactly on where I was, and I assumed correctly, although, given the time it took for them to get there, I suspect that they respawned close to the other side of the map. Had to ramp up before they could get back over here. Here is where, like I said again, predictability creates weakness. I knew they were coming. which also meant I knew exactly where they'd be, and I had the time to get some distance for myself and find a good position in which I could observe them. And here we are. I don't have them in line of sight now, but they're going to go for some high ground in order to see me, or to see if they can find where I went, probably thinking there's no way he could have disappeared that quickly. And ultimately, that's not something I'm saying in retrospect. I assumed that at the time. I think that's Crazy Girl there just went up that ramp to try and see if she could see me over on this side. And I think Mikuru is about to go up the other ramp. Now, I pretty much knackered most of the shots on Crazy Girl as she glided in. But that's what chain guns were made for. Now, the opportunity to quickly and hastily eliminate Mikuru did not work. Mikuru is being far more cautious. However, Mikuru backed down in order to avoid getting finished off, and I took advantage of the opportunity to silently and stealthily escape, as I knew Crazy Girl was probably going to drop straight on the bush and try to sneak me from behind. So once again, I repositioned into a location that they wouldn't expect. Then, however, I remembered that there was a flopper that I had found in... whatever it was. Yep, there they go. Spraying the bush down. I'm long gone. But of course, this was the atmosphere I wanted to create. The notion that I could keep sniping them, utterly immune, and that by the time they showed up, they'd never be able to find me again. And it worked, because I did ultimately win this match. Some might say that calling this a win is a little generous. To which I'd respond, yeah. Like you could have done it. Your delusions of grandeur of fast building and sweat building your way out of a 2v1 in such an open environment, or 4v1 at that matter. The tactics I used were necessary to achieve a victory under the circumstances. Besides, don't underestimate the value of patience. Fast building, try-hardy, sweaty types will always say that anybody can hide in a bush and take a sniper shot, yet if you ask them, even if it's practical, to sit still for more than 5 seconds at a time, it's impossible for them to do it. It's like all of them are hyped up on caffeine, which is probably the truth. So don't allege that you are capable of the levels of patience and precision required to do what I do unless you've actually done it. And not just assume that because it involves inactivity as opposed to excessive activity, that it must be something that everyone can do. I mean, I was exhausted by the end of this match, not because it was in any way difficult, but rather because it was 2:30 in the frickin' morning. And fundamentally, that was an investment of time, that was an investment of patience, and you can undervalue that investment on the grounds that it's not what you would have done, but if you'd done things the way you would have done, you'd either have quit out the match, and by extension, lost, and went out like a loser, by the way, or you would have just lost the match wholesale. So Crazy Girl killed herself in some way and just happened to be diving down where I was. I assume she has no heals at this point. Critically, however, she's separated from Mikuru. And here's another one of those strokes of tactical genius. I noticed due to the peculiarity of the terrain, there was a little cubbyhole down here. So I assume that drop is Mikuru coming to back up Crazy Girl. They don't appear immediately, probably because Mikuru was waiting for Crazy Girl to respawn, come back here, take me as a twosome. They tried that. It did not help. Now I preferentially target Crazy Girl. Not only is she more aggressive, but Mikuru does not seem to be as good at this. When you have the opportunity to pounce on a specific target and have that tactical advantage, make it the harder target to eliminate. Normally I'd say eliminate the weaker target first. And again, the all-black color scheme of my outfit just helps me vanish into the shadows like a ghost in the night. So I'm just waiting, because I know they're probably going to be coming back around. It took them longer than I thought it would, though. Surprise, mother... Could not resist to drop that one. And of course, I also started thinking that I really have to take their ammo. Ammo is going to be super scarce, and sooner or later they're going to start running out of it, especially if every time I kill them, I loot their bodies, and they don't get a chance to kill me for more ammo. So I really start ammo poaching at this point. I mean, my mats are already through the roof. And believe it or not, we are actually coming to the closing movements of this video. I mean, we're still 5 minutes out. I'll grant you. So this time they decide that trying to predator me just didn't work. Because I seem to have their number on lockdown. So the next 2 times I encounter them, they're going to be dancing out in the middle of the open for some reason. I'm assuming as a means to mock me, but honestly, I couldn't care less. Their emoting made them easy targets. Still thinning out the high builds. They must have seen some of these and just didn't approach. Probably realized they were a little out of their depth. Oh, I can't build. But I can shoot, and I can hide. I can hide real good. It's also amazing how eagle-eyed I can be at times. I mean, I think the next shot I take is quite literally on maybe a dozen pixels. They're moving! The human eye is designed to be attenuated to movement, just made them more obvious. There goes Crazy Girl again. So once again, I was expecting them to dive on my current position, but perhaps in a stroke of their own brilliance, they realize that's exactly what I'd be expecting, so it's perhaps best not to rush, because I'll already have repositioned, vanishing into the night, and be in a perfect position to cull them a second time when they go exactly where I expect them to go. Stick to the shadows. So at this point, I'll admit my patience was getting a little thin, so I started getting more aggressive, especially because, rather than hunting me actively, they decided to just chill out somewhere. which only meant this was going to take even longer. So, if their intention was to draw me out, congratulations, you succeeded. The trouble is, I don't think you'll be happy with the results. There you are, Mikuru. Go on. Peek. I dare ya. Weapons check. And I'm going to rapidly sum up what happens. I pop Mikuru, one of them drops out, the other one drops out, I get the win. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you'll consider supporting the channel with a subscription and ringing the bell, which I actually know what it does now. It has something to do with notifications. I hope you'll watch other videos that I've done that are so much better than this Fortnite garbage. I hope you're all staying happy and healthy out there. And as always, fare thee well.